Hey guys and girls, my name's Dan. Welcome back to the Forge. In this episode of Trust Me, I'm a Blacksmith. Let's talk about this gate. Okay, so the gate is almost finished. In fact, it's going to the galvanisers on Monday. But there are a couple of little jobs that need to be finished on this gate before it can go. And I'm going to do some of those bits today. And also I'm going to show you these heel tenons. Now, why am I doing that? Well, I've had some camera problems. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see the assembly of this gate. But don't worry, I'm going to go over some of the aspects of building this gate. One of the things that I really wanted to show you guys and girls was this little fire welded heel tenon. We will talk a little bit about costing for the job and where things went wrong and stuff in a little bit, but watch me make the heel tenon and we'll come back and talk about that in a second. Okay, fire welded heel tenon. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure about 1.5 inches, maybe 40 mil from one end. Take a square. And a centre punch. And mark across here. So this is going to be where we're going to do our first cut. But first, I need to put a short little taper in the end there, which is going to be our scarf. We're going to cut this. Fold this over, weld it together, draw out another little taper, cut that, fold that over and weld that together, and that is going to be the bulk of our tenon, and then we're going to go over to the fly press and cut our tenon. Okay, I need a really short little taper for this. A little trick for putting tapers on. You take the sides in first, and then using the bick, pull yourself out a little taper. Like so, and then I'm just going to come over to this side of the anvil, the far side of the anvil, and just tidy up that short little taper. See, I've got a short little taper on there. I'm just going to use hot cut to do this. I'm just going to come between those two centre marks. Just going to put a little mark in here. Don't want to cut that off. Just want to make it so it bends nicely, like so, and bring it back on itself. Already you can see that we're going to create quite a bit of mass by doing that. What we've done there is generated quite a healthy section of mass already. We've pretty much doubled the thickness, so we've gone from 8mm to 16mm. in thickness, which is quite good. The scarf's gone in quite nicely at the front, and it seems as it's cooling down all together, which means it's one piece, which is lovely. But I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to try and get another fold out of this. What we're going to do is we're going to put another taper in, another short taper in. So I'm going to come over to the anvil here, again, bring in a nice short taper, cut it and then fold it back on itself to give us some more mass. So when I'm fire welding, I'm looking to create an area of even heat throughout the object that I'm trying to weld. So wherever the scarf is going to finish, that also needs to be up to a fire welding temperature. That means that past the bar, past the fire weld, might also need to be warm. I'm also trying to make the most of the air that's available. I'm not 100% on full throttle, but I'm not at the same time, there's no airflow at all. What I'm trying to do is create an area around the coal where there isn't any, where no oxygen's being wasted, because the oxygen's our enemy here. The oxygen's going to prevent us from getting our material to become liquid. You can tell where the oxygen is being burnt off the most. It's the area that's the brightest. So the whitest, hottest part of the fire is where the oxygen is being burnt off completely. And one of the best ways to achieve this is to agitate your fire. And to do this, move your work round in the fire. It's very hard to demonstrate. Fire welding techniques because it's very hard to see unless you see it with your own eyes. But what I want to do now is I'm going to bring this up to fire welding temperature and bring this little taper out. But I'm looking for the material to look wet and for the scale to slide over the top. I hope you can hear me. So same again as last time. I'm just going to bring the corners in. I'm going to come over to the anvil and I'm just going to put myself a very short taper on. This is going to become our scarf for the second weld. So I'm just trying to keep this at a welding temperature as much as possible, and the reason is I don't want it to come apart on me. I was reasonably successful in the other, on all the ones that I did on the other gate, on the gate, so I can't see why this one shouldn't work as well. Okay, I'm just putting a little set down in here so that once we come to do the weld, I've got somewhere to hook onto should I need to try and close that scarf up. So here is our mass. I haven't got the scarf in, this second scarf in very well, but it doesn't matter, it's only an example. It's in, I'm pretty sure it's in, it's cooling down at a reasonable, it's all cooling down at a similar temperature, but it's you can see it, that's the only problem with it. But I don't want to let this completely cool down to show you, I'll show you it at the end when it's finished. But what I would like to do now, is whilst it's still got a little bit of temperature left in it, is just do the heel. You have to do this at a welding temperature, or it'll come apart on you. So I'm just going to grab probably the end, sort of 6mm, quarter of an inch. I'm just going to come down, turn it over, same on the other side. Just going to grab that, and then going, that's it, all the way down there on what I've set it to. Lovely. Trying to keep everything at fire welding temperature. I'm just going to come over. To be honest with you, this tenon is well too short, but it's just a demonstration. And then lastly, just to square everything up, I'm just going to take this hot rasp. Okay, so it's a reasonably interesting technique. Is it the best way of doing this? There's a couple of other ways. I could have started with larger stock, drawn it down. I do have a Massey. That would have worked the same. Or what I could have done is I could have made the heel tenon in some 20 square and then then drawn it down to the stock section, put two scarves on and fire welded it on. I just wanted to try this, and it seemed like a really reasonably controllable option. 20, yeah, 20, so 3/4 inch by 16, and the starting stock was, so 16 is 5/8, and the starting stock is 6mm. So a vast increase in size. The only thing that you have to remember if you do it this way is when you come to close the rivet on the back. Now, if I was taking 6mm on here, I've got enough material for this rivet to work. But if you're going to do this material, do this rivet, you have to get the rivet quite hot, otherwise it splits apart. Which means you need to get the rivet between, or get the gas on it and get it nice and warm. So it's the only issue that I think that I can see with these, but they work reasonably well, and they're quite good fun, and they're reasonably quick compared to trying to upset something like this. Okay, hopefully that was helpful, especially if you're using some smaller stock. I think this is a great way to build up the end of your heels. You could alternatively, like I said in the video, make another heel on a separate bar out of a piece of 20 square and then make that and scarf it on. That's another way of doing it. But I was having a go at this, and I just thought I'd see how it went, and it's pretty good. I think it's an okay process. Another process that I did and got on video, which I didn't get in video in the end because I messed up, was make some of these square holes on the diagonal to go through this centerpiece here. If you want to see that as a separate video, let me know and I'll make another video on doing that process. The gate itself came out okay. I have some aesthetic issues where I've made choices about welding where I should have made choices about forging. And I've done that because I was running out of time. One of the aspects of this job, or this series of videos, was to make a series of videos talking about how things can go wrong and why they can cost you money and where time can get eaten up, and that happened. Lots of things went wrong, lots of time got eaten up, and I've made some calls that have affected the aesthetics ever so slightly, I think anyway. So let's talk about some of the pros and cons of this project. Heel tenons, there's 4 heel tenons on here. They work really well, they're really quick, they're really easy, and I really enjoyed learning that process and going over that process with some of the students that had come up, Luke and Elliot. Putting the mural together, it's a lovely little mural. Learning how to make the acorns, really fun experience. Making the toolings for the acorn. The only monetary gain I've got out of those is the ad revenue from the videos. So, that was lost time as well, which I'm not adding into the make. So that was great. It cost me time and money. There was a mess up at the steel stockists. They didn't have my 20 square. I went down there to pick it up, and you would have thought the place where I get the 20 square from, they'd have had 20 square. They got so much steel there. The only thing they didn't have was 20 square. So they 12mm square, which was a real pain in the bottom. Anyway, it got sorted in the end. They got it sorted, and then we started making the gate, and we made this rail here, and you will have seen it, it's this one here. I punched this hole, the material seemed too thin, the hole itself was too thin, and I was like, this isn't working, I don't like it, make it again. So we made it again, and then we burnt the bar right in the middle of the bar, so I lost both, so that's 2 pieces now. I was like, should I continue to use this one? I was like, it's not good enough, this one's much better. So chunkier bar in the middle, and then we got that one right, but that was the first problem. I messed up some measurements, which means I had a really big gap over this side. You can see I've had to put an extra bar in, but this has turned into quite a nice hinge alternative, which I think I've got, I've got a good result with that. And I forgot to cost in for things like latches and slams and stuff, which it means that a job that should have taken me 30 hours, which would have come somewhere close to cost. It wouldn't have been perfect, but it would have been satisfactory. Has now cost me 50-ish, roughly. That's not including making the swages for the acorns, practicing how to do the oak cleaves. So you can see how a job like this can run away on you and cost a lot of money. And I think I've got another 3 or 4 hours yet to add to that. But it doesn't matter, that wasn't the point of the videos. The points of the videos was to show you some of the pros and cons and some of the processes to go through building a gate. I didn't do that, so something else went wrong to add to the list. Anyway, it turned out really nice. I'm really happy with the results. I'm really excited to show the customer. I think they're really going to be really happy with it, and it's been a great project and I've really enjoyed it. So hopefully you've really enjoyed watching all the videos that go along with it. I will leave links to the videos in the description, and I'll put some cards up at the end. I'll also create a playlist. But let me know at home what you thought of the videos and the series as a whole, whether you thought it was worthwhile, what you would like to see next time. Like I said, I have a project coming up, but we made the spring swages for doing these acorns. We made the oak leaves. We did the snail, and we did the introduction video, which was why you shouldn't take a job. It would be amazing to hear what you guys think about all those videos and that series, because a lot of time's gone into it overall, and a bit of feedback would be lovely. Okay, I've got another job coming up, which is a bit better paid. It's a bit more like the money I should be expecting for the work that's being done. It's an Art Nouveau style set of panels to go in some staircases, and also a small fireplace guard as well. I'm really looking forward to doing those. I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you and the new camera. So hopefully we can make a really nice fireplace guard, and I can show you some assembly tips and tricks. We'll probably end up doing some more heel tenons, and there's going to be some nice little fancy bits and bobs in there as well. I think that's everything. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this video series. Please give this video a like and also subscribe if you haven't already. And if you are a subscriber, please ring that bell for notifications, because it tells you every time I make videos, and I make videos about twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, and live every now and then. Please leave some comments down below. I'd love to know what you think. I'd love to know what you think of what I've said about the new series. Let me know about the square hole video. Let me know what you thought of the fire welding. Hopefully there were some nice tips and tricks in there for you guys and girls, and that is everything. So thank you for joining me. I'll leave a link up here to part 1 of this series, which is the why not to take. I'll leave a link down here to the snail video. This is my Patreon, and this here is the subscribe button. Thank you for joining me. See you later. Bye bye.